You're good.
So what's up, Facebookers, social media lights, everybody out there in Facebook land? I am still messing with this stupid screen.
Just leave it.
I'm trying to get.
Alone.
I don't know what to do with it, man. So listen,
alone.
I am Gary. Dude, we got a hell of a show here tonight, and I am absolutely stoked.
Yes.
I'm going to say probably the biggest name we've had so far.
Clearly.
Yeah. So let's
and hopefully this opens up for the bashful, the other drivers that are on the fence.
Yeah, we want to thank everybody that's following along with us and sharing our screen and all that other good stuff. And thank you to Nate, TGIR merch, Andy Crane for his last minute making a quick promo for us. Andy, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you.
And we're live on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, man. Tonight, so I think this is going to be an amazing show. Let's not wait any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us, Northeast Happy Hour with Predmore and Mearns. He was voted the greatest of all time in the big block modifieds and the modified Northeast racing world, of course, Mr. Brett Hearn.
Good evening, gentlemen.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Brett, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a busy guy, dude, and I appreciate you returning our text and all that other stuff. And
yes.
So let's get right to it. What was the final decision that said after 40 some odd years of racing, I want to stop chasing racetracks and focus on maybe promoting a racetrack or doing something different? What was that deciding factor?
Well, first of all, I dabbled a little bit with the promotional side of things with the big show for 12 years, actually. And, when the opportunity comes, when it comes knocking, sometimes you got to make a decision, right? So the opportunity was there to take the position at Orange County with Chris Larson and his existing group and Mike Gerda. And I just thought the timing was right. I've been living on the road for many, many years, and especially in the summertime. And I just thought that, I'm not going to race till I'm 70. So this opportunity may not represent itself if I wait too long.
Yeah. So did you approach Chris, or did Chris approach you? I mean, I know you've always talked to Michael on and off throughout the years. I mean, you cut your teeth at Orange County. How did that actually come about?
Well, so, Chris commonly would walk through the pits and say hello to people. He's very fond of the history of racing at Orange County. So naturally, me being a big part of that, he would always stop down and say hello. And then I invited him up to the big show at Albany, Saratoga a few times. He became a sponsor of the event. And, we developed a relationship, and and he knew that when I did, get out of the seat permanent, at least full time, I would be interested in perhaps being on that side of the business. I've been preparing myself for 15 years and learning that side of the business and paying attention to that kind of stuff. And it was just it was an opportunity. And actually, the truth be known, I mean, there was a possibility that we were going to do it in 2019, not 2020, and he said, I feel like you have more value in the seat of the car than you do in the office. So I went one more year and turned into 2020.
Yeah, I mean, by no means, I think, are you completely and totally washed up. I think you can still get in a car and still wheel it, with even some of the best of them. Is it just I mean, you've been on the road for so many years. You've been doing it for so long, and this is how you kind of made your bones, as they say. Do you think that it's just a big decision? Was like a lot of the younger guys are coming in with top-notch stuff? I mean, it just I don't think anybody can grasp the fact that when you look out on the speedway on a Friday or Saturday night, Brett Hearn's not there.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I think really my whole career has been based on, the details, the innovation, the details, the homework. I've said this over and over again. And, racing has really changed to the point where, the majority of the cars are store bought. I mean, there's not a lot of innovation. There's not a lot of fabrication. There's not a lot of creativity. It is what it is. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, because it lets a lot of guys get into the sport and get the same exact car that everybody else has and be on the even playing field, right off the get-go. So it's really made it easier to be competitive, but also it's evened out the field tremendously. And, there was a time, let's face it, I mean, there was a time when a guy like myself or Danny Johnson or Alan Johnson or any of these guys, they could get in anybody's car and make it better. And now I think it's to the point where, we've all got the same car, we've all got the same geometry, we all got good engines, if not a spec class engine. And so not only do you have to pay attention to the details, but you have to have all the things go in your direction on a given night.
We had discussed this before, and I think that's where the street stocks come in. That's you're still trying to make it do something that it's not supposed to do, and that's what you guys were doing 20, 30 years ago. Everybody had their own idea of how things should work, and I think that's you guys just had the knack to figure it out. It was just boom, it made it look so easy.
The innovation part. I mean, take like Gary Blue, the whole innovation thing.
That whole thing, right? But that whole thing inspired me to do the things that I did when I went to Freightliner in '89 to build a better mousetrap. And we took a bunch of ideas and threw them together. And I think we really, if you look at the pictures from 89, 90, 91, that things that we were doing at Freightliner, you can see today's car in those pictures. And up to that point, you couldn't.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense at all.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's get to it. I mean, you're still going to jump in the seat every once in a while. You are now, I believe, this is your second year down at Orange County, and has it been a difficult transition for you not being on the road? I mean, we were talking up in the tower last year, Eastern States, and you said the intensity is still there. As a race director, as the promoter, do you still find that thrill on a Saturday night, when a race is getting ready to go out? Or do you find yourself going, man, I think I got one more in me. Let me get in the car. So what's the motivation before was to win races, and now what's the motivation?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I mean, learning, I understand behind the scenes. I understand how races work. I understand what drivers like. I understand what fans like. And the biggest challenge I've had in the last year, obviously, and I think we finally got there, is, getting the track conditions correct for the racers, for the fans. I know the kind of track that I would want to race on. We had that Saturday night. So when I left the track Saturday night after the opener, that was like a win for me. I mean, that same kind of feeling that you get when you win a race, when you're driving home and you go, damn it, we did it tonight.
Yeah. Well, you know as well as I do, bad publicity is still better than no publicity at all. I mean, there's really nobody right now on social media talking crap. There's nobody. The track was still tacky at the end of the night. And if you're living under a rock and you say that you're a fan of Northeast Racing and you didn't go to YouTube and watch that modified feature with Tommy Meyer, man, you are missing out. Just the days of guys starting from 10th on back were kind of going away, and Tommy did it. It was an amazing race. It really was. So that's got to be so self-gratifying.
Well, it was great that we had a track that he could do that on from 11th, first of all, and that he actually did it, and he did something that you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to pass Matt Shepard and Stu Friesen and drive away. I mean, that you're not supposed to do that. So that, from that standpoint, it was the ultimate underdog victory, right? So that was kind of cool. But just to give all the drivers the opportunity to race 3 and 4 wide, to have no dust. It makes everything flow easier. It makes the show run quicker, show run better. It makes the fans in the stands happy that they were able to see the whole thing. They could see the corners, they could see the whole race. The driving could see the race. I mean, everything starts and ends with track conditions. And, this is something that we thought we were going to really be easy. It was going to be easy. Middletown went through the Centennial race in Eastern States with a little help from Mother Nature, really pretty well at the end of 19. And, we thought we had a handle on this. Matt Janiak and I were worked side by side. We thought we had it figured out, and we didn't. And it took me a year, and it took a lot of effort on Matt Janiak's part to try to start to figure out what this surface wants and what it needs and how it needs to be prepped. And I kept saying to people, look, I said, I think I can get this. I think we had it really close a couple times for testing tunes last year after we got shut down, but until I do it 5 times in a row, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
And so we're now into our practice weekend, where the second night we had it really like that, and then opening night I gotta do it 3 more times in a row at least.
Yeah. It was our practice night. I was down there. We were actually running ourselves. Not just because you're sitting here, in front of us, but that was the best I've seen that track at a practice night in a long time. It was still a little rough. It was, but the track is rough for our division because we have small tires and, but then I came back Tuesday and it was 100% better. Like you could have raced that night if you wanted to.
So by design, what we did was we prepped the track that our main concern was dust control. We prepped the track for the opening practice with dust control in mind. Once we had that, then we backed up and we created what we wanted the second practice, and then obviously we were able to duplicate that on Saturday night as well.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say Saturday night. Even watching from home, the little dip that you had in turn 2, it wasn't bad. You still had 3-4 lanes of racing. Is it, of course you have everybody and their brother piping in, and if I was running the track, this is how I would do it, and blah, blah, blah. How did, now the talk of the town right now is Anthony Lehman. I mean, I know it's an entire team, but how did that come about? How did he start getting involved with you guys and helping? Because it kind of seems like right now he's taking all the credit. And he even said, he's like, listen, guys, it's a team thing. He's really humble about it. But how did that come about?
So Anthony is, he's on Facebook a lot.
Yep.
So he's got a lot of buddies on Facebook, and so, he puts a lot of information out there. And so far, it's been good because the response has been really good to what we've done. So that's all perfect. Anthony is a guy that worked for me when I drove for Freightliner back in the early 90s. And then, he worked for Freightliner when Danny Johnson was there. So that's why he calls himself Johnson Hearn, or Hearn Johnson, whichever it was. And that's how that all came about. And, he reached out to me just like Carmen Rotundo did and said, look, if you ever need somebody, give us a call. So, when Matt told me, and I didn't get the word from Matt until like late in the winter that he decided he was going to go back to racing, and he never told me that after Eastern States. So I kind of was scrambling to like, wow, what exactly am I going to do now? And the handwriting was on the wall. I mean, these guys had already reached out to me, and
I think you did the best thing that you could have done. Was you put it out there. Listen, everybody, all you grandstand guys that know how to get it done, now's your chance. Give us a call. And I think that was brilliant.
Yeah.
I sat here just like this, like, oh, I can't wait for this. This is going to be great.
And we promoted it. We put that out there too.
That's awesome, right? Guess how many calls I got? How many calls do you think I got?
0.
Yeah, probably.
I got 2.
Right?
2.
You got 2.
Yeah.
Hackers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but I figured that, if you think for 1 second that water, the amount of water you put on the track makes the difference between dust and no dust, you're out to lunch. Lunch.
Right.
I mean, there were nights when we had that track flooded on a Friday night. I mean, absolutely underwater, and we would have dust the first lap of hot laps.
Listen, correct me if I'm wrong.
Way more complicated than that. Trust me.
Yeah, your first big show. When you first did it, I mean, you had to come over a lot. You had to get over a lot of adversity. I mean, I believe it was rain short, or it was delayed by rain. So here we were, trying to move things along, and even then, you know what I mean. You had a lot to get through. What do you think has been the key factor on keeping the dust down?
It's all in how you prepare the track before you water it. And like every track's different. I've lived at Albany, Saratoga, and watched Lyle DeVore prep his track. If I prep my track the way he does his, we would have a disaster.
Yeah.
So it was really learning the material. I mean, this material has no sand and no rock. And honestly, when it dries out in the sun, it turns into a powder. So you're turning they're turning a powder into clay by the time you're done. And you can see Saturday night after we were done, we had clay. Yeah. I mean, it was tacky and bound, and it's really, really hard. It's really hard to figure it out. And but I think we finally got a formula that seems to be working.
Yeah. All right. So track prep's going well. Everybody seems to be happy. What are the plans right now? I think you guys are at 75% back in the stands. Is there any movement towards possibly being back 100%? What's happening with that?
So here the deal is we are actually 20% in the grandstand.
20%. Okay, so I apologize. 20%. People don't kill me.
Right. That's the recommendation by the state. Obviously, the drive-in is a little bit different because you're in your car or you're near your car, so you're not really moving around other people. And so, and then you have the competition that's in the pits, which basically they're all standing by or working on their own cars in their own areas anyway. So there's not a lot of mixing there. So for now, we can live with that. And I really truly believe that by the time we get to, maybe Memorial Day weekend or maybe July 4th weekend, that things will pretty much be back to normal, I hope.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, so the and then the other thing too is the new point system. You had Tommy Meyer on the other night, and Tommy really seems to like it. What's been your feedback from some of the guys? We're finding it's almost like 50-50. Some guys are all for it, and a lot of the local guys, who don't travel a whole lot, are not too happy with it.
Yeah. Right. So let's talk about our alternatives first. All right. We're going into a season where we don't know when we can actually open the stands 100%. So we know that we obviously cannot afford to run big block and small block on the same night. The numbers just don't work. So we had to devise a plan where we had a big block division and a small block division because, quite honestly, last year we had 40+ small blocks for 2 races each. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if we run big blocks on a weekly basis, do we tell the small block guys, sorry, man, we don't have any place for you in the program? We devised a program that was going to be put the emphasis on the big block races being very special, all big purse races, and having a more, a small block division that runs for a big block purse on a regular basis with a really good point. So I think it was the best of both worlds. The format was designed to, invite or at least, make it a situation where the invaders were at least, amused by the system, that we would get more invaders to come for the big block races, because that would help our streaming, that would help our crowd. And, obviously that's kind of what we did for the opener. I mean, we got we had some heavy hitters there, man. And most of them.
Well, Matt Shepard, Larry White, Billy Decker, the only time I think you really see these guys is Eastern States weekend. So it was the who's who, and it was just a regular Saturday night. I thought that was awesome.
It's cool.
I like the format, and then again, I don't. I'm kind of old school.
And that's the thing. A lot of them say it kind of like it nips the local guys that race every week. So somebody can come in from upstate and win one time, and then they're locked in.
The best thing that could have happened was Tommy Meyer winning.
But that's this week. I mean, you still got next week.
Right. So that's the argument. That's the argument against the system, right? So that a guy can actually, Tommy Meyer could sit home now until the end of July.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so could anybody else that would win the race.
Yeah.
But that being said, if you really analyze the system, it really is still going to favor the guy that makes all the races, because there are going to be guys that are going to get into this thing on points alone.
Points, right?
And and so it still favors the guy that's going to be perfect attendance, is going to be a guy that's going to get in the top 8 and then be able to move forward from there.
My opinion, though, again, I understand what it is you guys are doing. I applaud you for it. I like it. I I think there's going to be some sort of backlash if somebody who does come in and wins and then comes back for the final point stuff and winds up walking away with it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I really hope not. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't know. But NASCAR is doing it and it seems to work.
Right. Well, the thing is about that is that, I think that, at some point, these guys, like certain guys like Larry White, are, they have to go to Fulton on Saturday night, or, these other guys are uncommitted or committing to Canandaigua on Saturday night, or Lebanon Valley on Saturday night, or whatever it is. But the word that I'm getting on the street this week is that some of those guys, like Peter Britton, like the track so much, they're ready to come here for all these big races. And every race is going to be very special. I mean, we're going to have great purses to run for. Even on a Saturday night, we're getting ready to announce a nice size bonus from the Falanga family in memorial of Joey. That's going to make the next purse on the Big Block Derby night, May 1st, pretty nice. And so these guys, if these guys can get free from their Saturday night obligations, they're going to come here and run all these big block races. Wait and see.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I think there's the track surface is amazing. I think for all divisions, street stock sportsmen, I love the fact you guys brought back the rookie sportsmen. Let's talk a little bit about that. You have a moving up. What are we calling that? A moving up ceremony?
Graduation or something.
Yeah, graduation. Explain to us how that works.
Well, I kind of formatted that thing after what they used to do at Flemington back in the day, right? So they would start the season with the rookie division, and then eventually those guys would have to go into the regular division. So I wanted to have a graduation that coincides with obviously the time frame where high schools are graduating and so on.
Yeah.
And I never expected to have the kind of reaction we've had to this division. We've got 20 guys signed up already. For the rookie division that have little or no experience. Many have no experience at all. And, what we're going to do is we're going to run them 6 nights. And we announced this week that if we have a rain out, we're going to reschedule them on the off week. So they could try to get 6 full races in before they graduate. Now, the thing that these guys are going to be trying to do is to finish first or second in points, because that will move them right to the front of the handicap system. So that's the reward.
Okay.
And then obviously the other guys are going to have to decide if they want to move into the regular sportsman division for the balance of the year, and pick it up at the back of the handicap system. So that'll be an individual decision when that time comes. But I think that as we try to move these shows along in 3.5 hours from 7 to 10:30, I just thought that was the best case scenario, and I think we're going to be able to get there.
So is it going to be say like top 3 in the rookie points? They have to move up, or how's that work? Like how many guys are actually going to be moving up? How many don't have to move up? How does that work?
So everyone's going to move up after graduation night. There's going to be no more exclusive rookie races after that.
Okay.
And so they'll have to move into the regular sportsman division. And next winter, if they have little or no success, we're going to have to reevaluate the rookie class and see if they're eligible again.
Okay. Yeah, because years ago, I think when they had 3 divisions of was pro stocks or something back then, it used to be top 3 in points had to move on. They would, it was like rookie, novice, expert. You know what I mean?
Right,
even
that's
something
that we're going to have to determine probably next winter on how we want to handle that.
Nice. Okay, so the next upcoming weeks, I know you guys got a lot of big stuff on the schedule. Let's talk about the schedule here for 2021. How do we get tickets to get into the stands? Explain all that.
Okay, so we have a couple different things, right? First of all, you could buy tickets at the gate until we are able to, if we run into the problem where we have 20% in the stands and we have to cut the ticket sales off, the drive-in's still available no matter what. So you could still move into the drive-in. So I don't want to scare anybody away from buying a ticket, because there's going to be a spot for you somewhere. If you want to buy a ticket in advance for the grandstand and be guaranteed that you're going to be in the grandstand, we can do that through the office. You can pick your tickets up at will call. The other thing that we've had a little confusion on is the reservation for driving. We do that through the office strictly as a convenience for the people that don't want to get to the track 2 or 3 hours in advance to try to get their favorite spot in the drive-in. They can call the office and they can get a reserved spot for the drive-in, a particular spot based on the map that we've built. And it's really just a convenience thing, really more than anything. Again,
Okay.
all the tickets are available at the gate.
Nice. Okay. So, what are some of the bigger shows that we have coming up here this summer?
Well, we're going to do the next 3 weeks. Will be pretty much our regular Saturday night show, highlighting the small block modifieds with sportsmen and rookies every other weekend. Street stocks will begin, I believe, the weekend after this coming one. I'm hoping
17th,
that we see, 17th. I'm hoping that we see a little bit more support for the division. We have the sponsor. We have the division sponsored now by Napa, Northeast Parts Group, which is going to give us a little latitude to do a couple different things. If we get enough cars, I'm planning to do at least 2 hot lap sessions on the first night, and depending on the car counts, we may make that program a little bit deeper as we move forward into the summer. But again, it's going to depend on support.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't mean to be biased about it, but I appreciate you hitting on that too, man. You know, us street stock guys, we appreciate what you do for us. I think that since you've been there, you've never cut our laps. Eastern States was, other than a couple of incidents, it was we had plenty of track time and stuff, and on behalf of the street stock guys, we really truly appreciate that.
Well, Joel, on that point about the street stocks and the time limits, I am just not a fan of time limits.
Yeah.
I would rather not schedule you than put a time limit on you, because there's nothing less fair than being 4 laps of the race and put a checker flag on
and we've had that happen, man, and it's
right.
But I've even seen that happen in the sportsman division too, though, when it's gotten to be an hour and a half and they can't get 3 laps in. I've watched them drop the checkered, and to me, even then, it's you know what I mean. It's got to be frustrating.
I would rather schedule less on the track and not have to do that. I'm just not a big fan of it. I've never been a fan of that.
Yeah.
Just my personal opinion.
So, all right. So, Brett, again, man, we appreciate you coming on, and I hope that we've covered everything. We've covered sportsmen, the small block, the modified, even the street stock guys. So everybody that we have on, we always like to ask one question. And this question, I am excited to ask this question to you, because you are a man that has pretty much won almost everything. Every big jewel. I was discussing this with my wife, and Carrie, she works out back, so that's. But I was discussing this with her. I said, well, I guess you would call it every jewel event this man has won. Over 900 some odd feature wins. I don't know exactly. Is there one race that you've never won, other than the Daytona 500, that you would have loved to have win or still want to win? What would that one race be?
Well, I think that the hardest one for me the hardest one that I've ever had that kind of lingered on for a while was the Fulton 200. They call it the Outlaw 200. It's been named a couple different things, but that race, I've been close a few times and never won that race. I finally won that, I think, in 2012 or 13 or something, or 14 or something like that. And, that was the one race that always eluded me that I finally did win. And quite honest with you, I think that was like the last really big one that I hadn't won. And I was able to get that feather in my cap, and that was awesome. So, I don't really think there's another really outstanding race at any given track that really would light up, and I would think that, well, that's the one I never got. I think I've got pretty much majority of them.
Yeah, I would say no, not a. You got them all. I don't know.
76er at Grandview is always a big one too.
That's another one, but the thing is, I've only run that twice.
Right.
So, I think there was a point in my career where I think any track that I had been to more than twice, I had won it. And the 76er, I think I've only run that twice. And yeah, that would be a cool one to win. But the odds of winning it, only doing it twice, are pretty slim.
Yeah.
So
well,
Kimmy
you are Brett
Fortune's-
Hearn. I mean,
Yeah. so Kimmy Force is piping in. She's asking about Bristol. What about Bristol?
Oh, yeah.
The dirt?
Yeah. So I'm getting ready for that,
And you're going.
I am going. And
Okay.
Mr. Larson gave me the weekend off and told me I didn't have an option. He said, "You need to be there. It's cool as hell."
Listen, I think I need a job over at the Speedway. I tell them I'm going racing. They're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So and then
Bristol's going to be a cool thing, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Hopefully it's not as. Hopefully you guys don't tear as much stuff up. I think some of the guys they weren't very forgiving. There was no give and take there. I mean, they were just running each other over. That was crazy.
Especially if you watch any of the late models or even the UMP mods and stuff that ran there. It was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be watching this weekend when the World of Outlaws are there to see exactly how it all plays out. It'd be interesting, but I'm paying attention.
So breakneck speed. That's what's crazy about it.
It's fast.
So fat. Yeah. Phenomenally fast.
So out of all the tracks you've raced at, and I'm gonna say other than Orange County, what was one of the what was like your favorite track? Where did you pull into and just, man, you didn't care where you finished, you just really enjoyed racing there?
Oh man. One of my favorite races was the first race I ran at Eldora. That was always crazy good. I've always liked Volusia. I've always liked Hagerstown. I like Granby in Quebec. One of my favorites. Yeah, man. There's a bunch of them, but I think that Fulton 200 was always like a really, really fun race to race in, and win, lose, or draw, I always had a good time doing that race.
Yeah. So, all right. So we're looking.
When you've been doing it that long, there ain't. Raced them there. Yeah. Is there any track you have not hit?
Oh man.
That you'd want to.
We
all saw Daytona.
The only other track that I think of that's really like off the charts is as far as the dirt track goes is Port Royal, and I ran the Dale race there a couple of years ago and got a fourth in that one, and that track's amazing. As far as dirt tracks go, I've even been at Knoxville in a Silver Crown car, so I could say I did that. I've been on the mile in Indy, maybe Springfield. Maybe the mile at Springfield looks pretty cool. DeCoin, I don't know. But as far as dirt modifieds go, I've seen most of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So everybody's piping in here. Andy Crane, have you ever, when you first started in your career, now if you watched the little movie that you guys had made, I think that was back in maybe early 80s, something like that. You were looking to possibly to go indie racing and stuff. Where did you think that this was going to go? Did you think that your career was going to be, where you're at now?
Well, I can make it. It's really simple, right? So in the early 80s, I went to Skip Barber to learn how to road race. I thought that Indy cars was the coolest thing, and I wanted to go that way, and realized that, there was no way, unless I had somebody else spending money on me, that I was going to be able to do that. So we pieced together a Busch Grand National car with the help of family and friends, and got completely outclassed in every aspect of it. Dabbled in that for 4 years until I realized that I could actually make a living in a modified, and that was probably the smartest thing I could do at the time. Made the deal to drive for Freightliner and started knocking down 20, 30 wins a year, and the rest is history. And I just I basically stayed focused on that.
Yeah, nice. So they're piping in now. So Flemington's gone. Syracuse is gone. Do you miss racetracks like that? And with Syracuse being gone and now Super Dirt Week moving to Oswego, do you still think you're still getting the same feeling that you had at Super Dirt Week?
Well, you're never gonna replace Syracuse. You're never gonna replace the thrill of inspection day and what this guy's got and what that guy's got, and then the first couple laps on the mile, the speeds are like 30% faster than any other track you go to, and and then the race is longer. You got to get ready for live pit stops, and you're there multiple days, and you're never gonna replace that. Oswego is really cool. It's probably the best option available, especially in upstate New York, for a neutral ground track where nobody else has that hometown advantage, home track advantage. It's really the best thing that they could have done in in respect to trying to replace Syracuse as Super Dirt Week. So I'm all for it. I'll probably run it this year. I'll look forward to running it this year. But some of those things, Flemington, you'll never replace Flemington. There's no other square tracks. Let's face it, right?
Yeah.
So those things will never be replaced. I mean, I'm glad and blessed I was able to be a part of it at one time or another. Even Reading.
And what's good about Oswego is you could bring your Saturday night race car there now. Where Syracuse, you had to build a different car and stuff like that. Oswego is more Saturday night friendly. You can just bring your own car there. I mean, besides Joel, he brings it. But Oswego for a modified, I mean, you can bring your regular car and race that there now.
Yeah, it's way less complicated than it was. Syracuse was a month worth of preparation after you'd run all over the world, all summer long. So,
right.
And a very expensive proposition as well.
Yeah, listen, I've always wanted to run Syracuse. I was going there for years when my dad was inspecting the pro stocks when the dirt tour and all that other stuff. So I literally took my street stock, I put a pro stock body on it, I put a crate motor in, and I ran the last year that Super Dirt Week was there, and it was one of the most. We didn't qualify by no means, but we weren't the slowest car. But it was probably one of the coolest experiences I ever had. For being on the track itself, I mean, you could feel the G-force in your chest going down the front stretch, and it was nothing is ever gonna, equal to what you experieed there. And then
there's things that mattered at Syracuse that didn't matter anywhere else. If you have a tire that's out of balance on a half mile, you can barely feel it. If you have a tire that's out of balance on the mile, you're going to go
we learned very, very quick, and I thank you, Sean Core, who's a big he runs ARCA now, on and off, and Sean came over and gave us a hand, and he's like, listen, did you get your tires balanced? And I was like, what are you talking about? And it almost vibrated the steering wheel right out of my hand. It was that bad,
right.
And I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I went through maybe 2 rolls of duct tape. I never why are we taping? And because if you didn't, it would rip the panel right off the side of your car, But
right.
I mean, just what an amazing experience it really was. It was absolutely awesome, and I don't think you'll ever get that. Do you think that in the future, I mean, of course, there's always rumors, but do you think that in the future that Orange County may see some form of a NASCAR event there?
I mean, it would be a monumental investment if that were to ever happen. I mean, I don't see that in the foreseeable future. Even with the amount of money that's been put into place in the last 5 years, it would take probably double that to even get the fencing and some of the infrastructure up to speed to be able to handle that, the capacity, and so on and so forth. So I don't see that happening. I know at one time that was on the wish list, but I mean it's not in the plan right now.
Yeah. What about some of the other sanctioning bodies coming in, World of Outlaws, Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series? Any of those guys? You guys looking at to possibly come into Orange County?
That's my thing. The late models.
Yeah, we are working on. The late models have not been to Orange County for a bunch of years, and I think their popularity, based on what the amount of TV exposure they've gotten. I think their popularity might be a little bit better now in the Northeast than it was back then. And we are seriously looking at a weekend in August that we will consider a World of Outlaws late model race along with a concert and a big Saturday night. So we're pretty close on that deal. And if that happens, it's going to be a great weekend. Go up there, camp out, and make a 3-day event.
I have to give credit where credit is due. I think that the popularity, especially what you're watching on TV, is a lot to do with maybe Tim McCready. Do you agree with that?
Well, Tim McCready or Stuart Friesen for that matter. I mean, now Stu's starting to jump into that. Yeah, I mean, I tell Stuart all the time. TV's made you a much more popular modified driver than you'd ever be.
100%.
no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see how that works. But I mean, even if you're a modified fan and you know who Stuart Friesen is, and you tune in, you might not be a fan of his, but you tune in and watch him on TV because he's one of your boys.
Yeah.
So eventually everybody becomes his fan because he's on TV and he's doing well, and it's a car you're familiar with, a team that you're familiar with, and a sponsor you're familiar with.
It makes sense because nobody likes a guy who wins all the time, and Stewie's. I mean, he's just got to figure it out himself. Matt Shepard and all that. Did it? And do you think that if you had that exposure earlier, you would be received a lot better? I mean, I've been to racetracks where you've won, and the place it was like, oh my god, dude, he's got to feel so bad. You know what I mean? Because you would win, and the place was like,
boom,
it was
out
deafening.
of the place.
Yeah, it was deafening.
Oh, I mean, just the craziness at the mile alone. I mean, just when I get introduced there and all the booing because I had done so well there, and I used to say all the time. I said, if you're booing me because I win too many races, I'm okay with that. If you're booing me because you think I'm a bad person, I'm not a bad person.
Yeah, even at at Orange County, up in the half covered there was the Hearn haters, that whole section up there. I remember that. Yeah,
I could tell you guys some stories that I wouldn't want people to know. Sometime I'll tell you.
Yeah. But even with myself, I think that a lot of drivers and stuff, they. I find myself sometimes, especially at Orange County, with a couple of laps to go, have I done enough to try and win? And for some reason, and not to jump on your coattails, but it always pops in my head. You had done an interview a few years ago where you said, listen, we just wanted to be the best we could at what we're doing. And that kind of stuck with me a little bit. So, every feature event that I'm in, if I'm running second and there's like 2 to go, it's, if I was Brett Hearn, have I done enough to try and win this race? Did
I leave anything on the table, or did I just settle, or did I do the right thing, or should I have been more aggressive? Yeah, those questions are always after 100%. The race, right?
So I always, we've had a couple of seasons where we were extremely successful. And when people booed and complained and you're cheating and you're this and you're that, I know here it bothered me. How were you able to get through that?
Well, like I said, I never felt like I was being booed because I was a dirty driver. I mean, some people would say I was or am, but I felt like I was just being booed because I won too much, and I was okay with that.
They definitely can't boo to professionalism. I mean, class act all the time,
and then I think the other thing that's also misunderstood is that a lot of that what we presented at the track, that I own my own stuff. I squeezed every dollar that I could out of everything. So it wasn't like we were out spending anybody by any means, because I had to work off of my sponsorship money and my purse money to make it all happen. So. A lot of the misperception is that he just had the best car, the newest stuff, whatever. I mean, we had there were a lot of pieces to the puzzle that we put together, and we always had good stuff. I'll never say we didn't, right? Yeah. But there was a lot of work that went on behind the scenes, not only in putting the stuff together and the detail, but also in acquiring what we needed to do that.
Yeah. Listen, I've always said, man, you can have the best stuff in the business and not be able to drive it, and that's I think that's something that just the way you were able to read a track, and like you were telling Tanner Von Doren there on one of your shows, that you just knew when to go, when not to go, when to press the issue, when not to press, and that's, to me, that was always impressive to watch.
Right, so just making good decisions, right?
Yeah.
While you're in the heat of the battle.
So did you ever think, in your career that you'd wind up being the guy doing all the interviewing? Because it seems like you found a little knack for it. Like you guys are pretty decent.
Well, it's easy because I'm talking about something that I know about, and I can ask the right questions sometimes. I mean, I don't think I'm great at it, but when I'm talking to another driver, we're talking like we would talk in the pits, one driver to the other. It's really not that hard.
Listen, I always said that a good announcer has to be a race fan, and even somebody who's doing an interview or something like that, you have to be a race fan, because if you're not, you're just not getting it.
Right.
So we're starting to wind down here. Brett, who do you think right now? I mean, the up and comers in the sportsman division, stuff like that. Who do you think who do you think of the kids are to keep an eye on here?
Well, the funny thing about that is, there was a time when everybody said, well, there's no young guys out there. You got Horton, Alan Johnson, Danny Johnson, Brett Hearn. These guys, Jack Johnson, these guys aren't going to be around forever. Where's this all going from here? And then all of a sudden, when you wake up one morning and you go, that kid's 12, that one's 16, that one's 20.
Yeah,
it'll happen, right? Who the next guy that steps up to the plate? We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, there's plenty of young guys out there that are doing pretty good. That have a lot of lap time. I mean, Tyler Dipple's still very young. Max McLaughlin now can run with any Super Dirt Series car.
Yeah.
I mean, there's he's only 21. So I mean, like this is the tables are turning. It's just.
I thought Max was I thought he was pretty genius with the shirt that he came out with, a black eye and 2 gators, man. That's the Dirt Nationals. I thought that was awesome. I was like, good for you, man. Way to own that.
Yep.
Yeah, right. He sent that. He sent the idea to me and asked me if I thought that would be a good thing. I said, hell, it might. I would have jumped right on that.
Hell yeah, absolutely. So
sure thing.
All right, Brett. Man, we can't thank you enough for joining us here, and again, thank you for last year giving me the opportunity to work with Timmy Pitts Eastern States weekend, and dude, it's always a blast. Continued success. I mean, dude, it's really cool to watch the work not in the race car but behind the scenes, and my family really appreciates you. And they said because Brett comes down and says thank you. Do you guys need anything? And my girls really appreciate that. My sister, everybody. She's like, yeah, not that Michael Gertie never did any of that. I mean, he did 100%. He said, but I think it's awesome that you're willing to learn, and that's what they say. He comes down, he wants to know why. Just to learn. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, paying attention, man. We we have a good team. It's a good team. I have to say.
Absolutely. So.
And I want to give a shout out to Doug Bulgarian too in the office. He does a great job. Peter Crackers, Reynolds,
absolutely.
These guys, we really do have a good team. Jake Meyer.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what it takes. You got to have a good team around you.
Yeah. So again, Brett, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for spending some time with us. We'd love to have you on, maybe later in the year and see how things are going, see what your perspective is, and the place is looking great. The racing has been phenomenal, and we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
All right. The greatest of all time Northeast modified driver, Mr. Brett Hearn. Wow, that was cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Good.
So this is what
you could literally talk to him for hours.
Oh, you could absolutely.
The stories
absolutely.
that he that he has,
and I think that this is what people don't realize is Brett puts his pants on just like everybody else. You know what I mean? And he's a very humble guy. He knows what he's done in his career, and he knows how people perceive him. But once you get to know him, dude, he's just the guy needs to write a book. He really does. Just absolutely thank you so much for joining us, man. And it was kind of last minute too. I sent him a text this morning, and it was awesome.
Yeah, no, that worked out good. That's cool.
Yeah.
And
so a lot of
Orange County going in the right direction too.
Yeah, listen, it almost makes you. It makes you kind of, do a double take. Do I want to maybe switch venues on a Saturday night? Whereas right now, no, I don't. You know what I mean? I'm still committed. I still want to see, where this is going, and
it reminds me a lot of like an upstate racetrack where it never used to be like that. Like I don't know, I've been go to the upstate racetracks.
Yeah,
it races the same. Like it'll slicken off on some nights, but still be fast and have multiple lanes. That's what's great about the new surface that they got there. I think that's why people like Shepherd, when they come down, they like it because that's what they're used to. I mean, every upstate racetrack is almost the same.
Dry slick up
north. It's all the same.
Listen, I even said, the Tuesday night we went down for practice, I said, man, I haven't been able to drive my car into turn one that hard in a couple of years. You know what I mean? Because you're in a four-wheel skid. And Kyle Welsh brought junk. He brought junk and I had nothing for him. You know what I mean? You could just drive it in. You could drive in so hard.
And that's the thing.
It's
Last
awesome.
time that you were even, I mean, back in the day, you would not go into turn 3 and 4 that hard.
No.
The drive. I mean, I've done it in the Sportsman and wound up in the fence. I mean, you just cannot do that. You know, now you can. It's just a whole different. It's a whole different thing.
You know, like they were talking the other night. You know, on their podcast. You know, Talking Dirty. They never realized how uneven turns 3 and 4 were because those guys are now going up there. You know, they're testing the waters up there. So
no, definitely, because you would never do that before.
Yeah, and I think and Michelle just popped in too. Michelle Doss, thank you, dear. I love you so much. She just piped in and she said, "Makes you feel hopeful again for the old girl," and it really does. I think Brett genuinely. It cares, you know. He wants to put on the best race possible. You know, he wants to have the best surface possible. He knows what it's like to spend tons and tons of your own money and go there and have a track destroy your car. You know, and and I've had that happen. I've had a track destroy my car. You know, and it sucks.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
Quick. But that's the thing. You know, you got someone like that who's been there. He knows, you know, what it's like. And you don't know if you really know the struggles, but you know, he gets it, and that's what's great about that.
Yeah. I actually watched the. He's knowledgeable and great to have a driver. Who knows? It's I forgot what the hell I was going to say. Shot.
But again, going back to last week with Tommy Meyer.
There we go.
I could not. I mean, I watched that. I was at awe. I could not believe the way he split.
Sunday morning, you know,
like
I didn't go down to the track Saturday. I stayed home and hung out with the littles and all that stuff, and it was a really good time. But Sunday morning, I watched the race because, of course, social media it's all people could talk about, and. I watched a race and I already knew who won, but I found myself like, you know, almost just like it was awesome. What a restart he had, and dude, it was awesome. You know.
Yeah, even the restarts, he was out. You know, five car lengths by the start. I mean, he was. Even with that little rut in the corner, I think that made for more interesting races. I mean, them guys were way up to try to miss that. I think it was even turn 2 there.
Even when they were down low and some of the guys were hitting it, it was upsetting the car, but not as much as it was the Saturday prior.
Right? You know? But that's the thing. Even if you were middle or the bottom, I mean, you were hitting it together.
Yeah.
I mean, it was you know, it wasn't like one was missing it.
So I'm going to jump off topic here real quick because I feel like I have to defend my boy. I really do. I have to defend him. So there's a lot of flack, you know, being thrown around about Timmy Pitts and horrible announcing and all that other stuff. And in Timmy's defense, announcing is one of the hardest jobs that you're going to do at the track. It really is. It's almost as hard as doing the track prep and all that other stuff. If you don't do it right, you are going to get tore up.
Yeah.
Give this man a break.
Yeah, they were upset over the whole Boniface to Tyler Corcoran thing.
He is probably the best, if not, or he is one of the best, if not the best announcer that you could possibly have at any racing venue. Yeah. Every year, drivers, there was over 100 cars in those pits Saturday night. And every year, drivers change numbers, they change cars, they change the color of their cars. So it takes a little bit for announcers to get used to who they are and all that other stuff.
But he would always go down. I mean, when I was racing Orange County,
and
he would be in the
I tell
pits
you,
with his notebook. He'd have a notebook, walking around the pits. If he's never saw you before, he'd get all your He got down to where I was working, everything. Like he wanted to know what you did. Like he's definitely passionate about what he does.
This man does his homework. He does his homework.
No doubt, he does.
He's not on social media, thank God. I don't think that he would have hurt feelings over it. I know I certainly don't when I see stuff like that. it's just, you know what I mean? You got to cut him some slack, man. He's been doing it a long time, dude. He's one of the best in the business. He really is. And once he gets it, you know he's going to get it, dude. He's going to put on a good show for you guys. And I can't stand when somebody goes and they go to the racetrack every single week and they bash the track. I can't stand that. I can't. That drives me insane. If you are that unhappy there, don't go. Don't go. Stay home.
Yeah.
Listen,
and it was the first week, and there was a lot of
play that by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was opening week. I mean, and there was a lot of invaders there, even in the sportsman division. You know, there was a lot.
The blue black guy. I thought he was the singer. I was like, hey man, good for you.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I know. I saw all the flack on Facebook. It was tough to read some of the stuff.
Yeah,
because Timmy is a nice guy.
Dude, he's absolutely an amazing man. He's a very smart guy. I learned from him. I think Andy Crane may have worked with him a little bit, and yeah, Andy, I agree with you on that one, brother. He said, I always said if someone who thinks they can do it better, they're welcome to come and try out during hot laps. Listen to me, I'm telling you, it is a difficult job. It really is, and when you don't do it on a regular basis, it can be a little mind-boggling, you know what I mean? It just sure. Especially if you don't know the guys, you don't know the drivers, and just cut them some slack, man. You know, if you're that unhappy, dude, just go somewhere else. Yeah. You know, or just listen. I'm all for. I really truly feel that one racing weekend, they ought to have where if you want to try announcing, that they have the door open. Shot. Yeah, come upstairs, give it a shot. Listen, if you have 10 people,
guest announcer for tonight.
If you have 10 people, I want you to come in. You're going to do this heat race right here for 8 laps. Okay, and then the next guy comes in, and you're going to see how hard it is. And if you miss the one guy who started in 12th, and he went in with a flat tire on lap 2, and you missed it and didn't say it, they're going to tear you up. Yeah. And it's just, you do this. All right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So,
but I'm when he said that they're working on that late model deal, man, that really, I like
dude,
that.
That's
awesome.
Yeah.
That is
listen,
awesome.
I really Scott Bloomquist I remember it. He was winning. Jeff Hetzler drove his car, and Bloomquist, I think he dumped somebody, and then he wound up going to the rear for it. I forget who won. I don't even remember who won.
Yeah, that's why I always wondered what the reason was. I mean, Brett probably wouldn't know because he just got in there. But like, what's the reason why the late models never came back after that one time?
So yeah, I don't know. I think like he said, he just he knew he could make a living doing what he was doing. So what is it? No, hit a left. Do you see any way of connecting the announcing to stream video in the future from your experience announcing at Eastern States? Because I have here's what's difficult with that, Kim, so Eastern States, Friday and Saturday, we had a screen right in front of us. And then we have a screen over to the left of us. And then there was another screen in the center. And so what we were trying to do is we're trying to call the race for the people in the drive-in and in the stands. Okay? So if the camera wasn't on what we were talking about, it kind of messed people up at home. And then every once in a while, we try to pan back and talk about what was on the screen. It was difficult. It was a little frustrating at times. And then come Saturday, we lost 2 monitors. So now we're doing this. We're looking at the screen up here. And plus Timmy's trying to look at timing and scoring to make sure, so-and-so just disappeared. Where did he go? And it's just, it's tough. It was so tough. And then I had Cowboy Paul Small, who I is just, if anybody watched This Week on Dirt knows who that is, another legendary announcer. I'm in the booth with these 2 guys I grew up listening to and watching. And he's changing camera angles. So when he was trying to work off of what Timmy and I were talking about, and I think that you would have to work together every week for a couple of weeks to be on the same page. There's so much going on in that booth. And then you have the race director on the other side, and he's yelling at somebody. And then you have the handicappers, and they're yelling at the race director. There's so much chaos in that booth. Yeah. We're just doing the best we can, man. You know, if they let us drink up there, oh my God, that would be awesome. You know,
yeah, need that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So hey, there's Carmen Rotundo just piped in. Hey man, you guys are doing a great job, Mr. Rotundo. Thank you. It's good to see you guys back at the Speedway. Got my thank God it's Friday race shirt, or thank God it's race day. I keep saying that. I'm an idiot. So, but brings so much to Bethel. Yeah. Paul even, he's up there at Bethel too, man. Paul Small. Dude, I when he first showed up to Bethel, I was like, man, I know that guy. I don't know. And come to find out, that's who he was. It was awesome. Yeah. So, all right, man. I think
that was a quick hour, huh?
Oh, there's another one. Yeah, Ray Martin. I love that guy. He is the voice of Albany, Saratoga, Lebanon Valley. We ought to do a show one night with just announcers. What do you think? Right? Let's get happen. Ray. Let's get Timmy. Pistol Pete Wertman. He's from New Egypt. He's one of the announcers down there. Fred Mulhern, Andy Crane. Let's get him on. Yeah.
Andy will steal the show. You won't get nobody else a chance.
Listen, we'll get a mute button for him.
Yeah, we'll have to have a mute button.
We love you, Andy. Thank you, brother. Doing a great job up there at Bethel, man. So, okay, so this Tommy Meyer wins the big block modified race in awesome fashion. The sportsman race, Brian Crummell did win. Got popped with a carburetor.
Yeah,
I didn't think anybody got caught anymore with carburetors.
It must have been pretty big if that was the case.
So what's his Boo Black, right? What's the first name? Yeah. So he winds up with the win.
It's good win for him.
Yeah.
And that,
you don't see
that happen very often.
Brian Crummell, all-time feature winner in the sportsman division. Okay, he surpassed Mr. Tim Heinley. Of course, Timmy missing in action. Where are you, man? Tim, you coming back racing or what?
Yeah, right.
Ray Martin that announced that okay, I'm sorry, o.c.f.s in 60s and 70s.
I think it's Dan Martin.
That's right. Dan Martin. That's what I'm thinking of, right? Yeah, Albany, Saratoga. Okay, yeah, I got you. I got you now. Listen, man, I used to be a blonde, bro. Now I'm just Caucasian.
We'll let that one go.
Yeah. So Orange County Fair Speedway again this Saturday. What do they got on their card? I think it's
just. I think it's just small blocks this week, right?
Is it small blocks? Rookie sportsman, I think, right?
Rookie sportsman, maybe? Yeah, and I think they have the regular sportsman as well. So
and then the following weekend, April 17th, Bethel Motor Speedway will be opening up. It will be a practice session, one of two, I believe. Grandstands are free. Andy, pipe in on that one. I think that grandstands are free, and it will also be a 71-lap Enduro, 358 sportsmen and rookies. Thanks, Cam. And congrats on your RN. Good stuff. Now get that BA, man. Get that bachelor's. Yep. So it'll be, I believe it's a 71-lap Enduro. I'm trying to think of the driver's name that it's the race is for. I don't remember. I don't know. I didn't write it down, but I'll know it next week. He was a street stock.
But I think the grandstands are free for that. I saw that on the thing.
Yeah. So the return of Bobby Waters. Bobby Waters coming back racing, man. Dude, I was a huge fan. I love that dude. Yeah, him and his dad and mom and everybody. Yeah. Yeah. Tara and I actually went to school together for a little while. We went to medical assistant training together. It was kind of cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I walked in, I think she was scared. She was like, "Oh no,
this can't be real."
Yeah, man. So, but so Bethel and then Accord. I believe we still have a couple of weeks yet before they start doing practices.
Still. I don't think they open till what, May? I think, right?
Yeah, I know it's yeah. So
yeah, they open up late.
Yeah. So, but all right, man. I think that's it for tonight, right? Very awesome show, Mr. Brett Hearn. Thank you so much for joining us again. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and hit the share button, hit like, all that other good stuff, and thank you for everybody who follows along with us. And listen, man, the it's underway. We're here. It's race season. Cars are getting ready. Tony Gearhead putting that new motor in there for me. So,
well, oh boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yep. So
All right,
we'll see what happens.
we'll do it again next week.
All right, brother. So,
All right.
Gary, be good. Good to see you. So,
See you
the
next
Deo
week.
show is the Accord opener. Thank you, Michelle.
That's what I thought. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure though.
Yeah.
See, I don't like to. I'm not like you. You know, you just blurt it out whether it's wrong or right. I try to hold back a little bit.
Listen, what are they going to do? What are they?
Yeah,
that Joel Merns is an idiot.
Yep,
I know I am.
Yep, you'll be all over
Listen,
over
I used to
social
get
media.
mad at that stuff, man, and I just anymore. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
Yep.
You know, I can't believe you screwed up your name. It's wrong. You worst announcer ever. Worst. I was told I was the worst representation in the 100 years of Orange County Fair Speedway.
Wow,
you know what I did?
That's
I hit the like button.
yeah. That's pretty good.
Oh my god!
You should be proud of that one though. That's pretty
Listen.
impressive.
That's what I was hired. I was hired to be the funny guy. Apparently, I wasn't even funny.
Yeah. Who knew? Who knew?
What are you gonna do? So, all right, folks, we will see you. Thank you guys so much. Kimmy, thank you. We love you. And Bobby, good luck. Bud, thank you, man. So much fun. And dude, this was cool. So I really, again, thank you, Mr. Brett Hearn. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Dude, he's a busy guy, man. And it was, I really
Can
appreciate
only
it.
imagine.
Coming up.
Yeah. Jeez.
So, all right, folks, we
All
will
right.
see you next Thursday. Stay tuned. Hit like, share, save, watch, do all that other good stuff you guys do out there. And see you, cuz. And Gary, I'll talk to you soon, brother.
Later, man.
Be good.